Okay, so today I'm going to be reviewing season 7 of Dancemoms. I have reviews of the previous 6 seasons up on my channel if you would like to check it out after this. I'll link them down below in the description at the end of this video. And let's just get into it. I actually have notes for every single episode this season. So the first episode, basically the moms talk about Abby, and then they're just talking about, do we even want to come back? And Abby called them to talk about all that stuff because they hadn't spoken in, what, like 8 weeks or something like that. And then saying they shouldn't have allowed them to go against Abby, like, let's be for real. And Jill ate, saying that she sabotaged those kids because that's exactly what she did. You put basically all your time and effort into the minis, and then you're like, oh, they're so much better than you guys, but it's like you give them all your energy and all that stuff, and you don't give them enough time to rehearse and choreography, and then, yeah, it was just a slap in the face to them. So I don't blame them for being upset and, leaving and all that stuff. And Abby says, like, come to the studio, I have a big announcement. And she brings the minis there and the elites. And she says at the end of this week, she's going to be sending some of them home and that she's only going to have one team and that's what's most important to her. And so there is the routine with the minis yet again. And then Kendall talking about, oh, I thought we'd have to clean her bedroom to come back. Like, not too much. And then Carrie ends up leaving and she accidentally took the wrong girl, which was funny. And then Tiffany talking to the elites, talking about, what do you deserve? No, what do y'all deserve? Because, Holly was, on the original team that started the show. So if it wasn't for her and everybody else on that original team, then you wouldn't even have a show or a team to be on. So be for real. Don't talk about what do you deserve. Like, let's be for real. And then Jill clocked Ashley whenever she said that they brought Brynn in to be the new Maddie, because that's what they said a billion times. She's going to be the new leader of this team and blah, blah, blah. And Ashley's like, no, they never said that. Yes, they did. And you said that multiple times. So don't sit up here lying now that everything's different. She just annoys me. And then Abby tells the mini moms to go into the dressing room at the competition after lunch, and then they got all mad about that. And Abby told them that the elites were jealous of them. And then whenever they get confronted about that, Abby's like, I never said that, whenever we have footage of you saying it 2 minutes ago. One thing about her and Melissa, they lie, I'm telling you. And Gianna tells moms that, Abby's talking to them and all that stuff, so they go have that conversation. And so for the solos, Brynn has her Avita solo. I just thought that it was mid overall. And not the song having Save Your Tears for Your Pillow, like, in the lyrics and stuff. And like I said, I just feel like she never really gave Brynn hard enough choreography for the dancer that she is. Kendall has her Cleopatra solo, which was okay. It's probably one of her better solos for the later seasons. The group routine was Fight Club with the minis. It was okay. They've had better routines. Kendall got third. Brynn got first. The group got first. Tiffany is so annoying. Like I said, I can't stand her. And Abby gets them in the dressing room and she says she's not ready to make a decision. Now on to episode 2. So she says that the elites will be staying, and Kathy finally comes back because she wasn't there for a lot of last season, so that is something there. And they find out that Kathy's going to be coming back and all that. Kathy calls Jill, and then Abby brings in Daviana and Cameron this season. Camille and Kaya go at it, arguing. And Brynn and Kendall had their duet called My Shadow and Me. I thought it was good. Nia and Kalani had Young and Restless, which it was good for what it was. Abby left the competition for some reason. And then Candy Apples does their group dance, I'm Back, I'm Your Nightmare. This was one of their good group dances. They don't have many in my opinion because I don't really care for Kathy's choreography. The ALDC Elites group was called We Go On. I think it was like a lyrical piece or something like that. I thought it was good for what it was. Nia and Kalani got third for their duet. Kendall and Brynn got second. And I don't remember who said this, but I agree. I don't think that Kendall had a competitive personality. I feel like she was just dancing for like the joy of it and stuff like that. She didn't really strike me as a competitive personality, and that's no shade or anything, but I agree with whoever said that. Candy Apples got third, ALDC got first. They started arguing with Kaya about something, and then Kathy brought up Abby going to jail, and Abby says that the new girls, Daviana and Cameron, can come back for the next week. Now on to episode 3. I appreciate the mom standing up for the girls. And I'm pretty sure Jill said something like, Abby has never given Kendall a Maddie solo before, but that's not true. Because it was whenever Kendall did her Not Just Another Pretty Face solo, didn't she call that the Maddie solo? And if she didn't, then she gave her Fool Me Twice, which was her doing Fool Me Once, which she gave Maddie, and that is a Maddie solo. So she's definitely given her a Maddie solo before, so I don't really know what that was up about, and she was like so hyped about the routine and all that stuff, but she's definitely given her a Maddie solo before. Kaya clocked Jill, so we love to see it. And Kendall does the scream solo, which is great. I actually think that this is one of her best solos. I liked her technique in it. I liked the story. I liked the scream at the end. Yeah, it was a really good solo. I thought it stood out. Nakia has her Harriet solo, which was good. But honestly, if I didn't know the backstory, then I would not have been able to tell what the solo was about. I don't think that Kathy's really great at choreographing stuff and like telling stories and stuff like that. And so that's something there. I heard that she didn't choreograph this, if I remember that correctly, but that's just kind of my moment there. And then they argued about the solos. And then, not there being a parallel with the get your finger out of my face moment. And the Candy Apples group was called My One. And this was a song that was from Paige's solo in season 3. The one that she forgot, unfortunately. And that was a beautiful solo. I wish she would have remembered it or would have had another opportunity to do it. Because I like that solo and that was unfortunate. And, I thought it was good for what it was. The ALDC group was pretty reckless, and I thought this ate, Abby is recycling ideas this season, and I felt like she's been doing it for the past few seasons, as I've mentioned before, and so this one kind of is reminding me of the last text from season 2, which is definitely one of my favorite group dances. And somewhere in this episode, Jill was arguing with one of the mini moms and saying, like, oh, an 8-year-old shouldn't be in a dance about, reckless driving or whatever, and then, Kendall was in the last text when she was 8 or 9 years old. So there is that parallel there. There's kind of a difference though, because it's like they're all 14, 15 years old. Like they have got a lot taller. So I think the minis just really stick out in the group routines and stuff like that. So I got what she was saying in that sense. Maybe she just forgot about it. Sometimes there's moments I forget about until I read on the subreddit and then people remind me, or just all the other stuff. So there was kind of that moment there. And this is another only first overall competition. Kendall got first and the group got first. And then I think that Kendall and Nakia technically weren't even competing against each other. That's what I heard, at least. And they were trying to make it look like Nakia was shocked that Kendall won over her, but apparently she got a special award for her solo. Now on to episode 4. Abby brings back Eliana and Liliana for the team. And Daviana and Kalani are to go up against each other, and Abby says, basically, you better win or you're out of the group, like you're cooked. And so, she sees Kalani's choreography, and she basically feels like she was set up and all that stuff and all that. So they do go talk to Abby about it, and Abby was basically like, well, I've worked with Kalani for years. I know what she does best. We're still trying to figure out what you can do. And she was just crying and I was set up with the solo. And yeah, Abby just wasn't happy with that and all that stuff, and she just felt insulted, and I think Gianna did too. And so they argue about the minis again. Like I said, I feel like the minis shouldn't be in the group routines with them. It just pulls your eyes negatively because of the height disparity and stuff like that. And they're not really used to picking up their routines in 2 different days as they would be. And then this is the one where Fernanda, I believe, Daviana's mom, was talking about, go do a good job, even if you see Jesus out there, and that was a funny moment. And then Daviana's solo was Shades of Blue. I thought it was good. I liked it for what it was. Kalani had her Save Me solo. She did mess up the penché, but, I thought it was still really good. I really enjoyed the solo. The group routine was fairest of them all. I thought it was good. There was a mistake, I think, with the lift, and then Cameron was able to save that. So I liked it for what it was, I will say. And I don't think Liliana was in this routine. I feel like it was just Eliana, but I might be wrong about it. I like the group. Daviana was 6th. Kalani was first. The group got first. And then Abby tells Daviana, you're cut. You got 6th. This isn't good enough. You were supposed to win, and blah, blah, blah. And I appreciated the mom standing up for her, saying, no, we want her to be in the group and all that. And she says that the producers basically made her get rid of her because her mom didn't cause enough drama on the show. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I don't believe 90% of the stuff that Abby says, because she's been known to lie. But I don't know. It could make sense. I don't know. But that was unfortunate. Now on to episode 5. So this is whenever Macy joins the show. And I was just saying Brynn may just be the next star. Didn't we go over this almost all of season 5 when you were on, all of season 6? When is she gonna be the next star? Because Maddie been gone from the team. Why do you just keep saying the same thing? Because first she was gonna be the next Maddie, then it was, oh, we never said that, then, oh, she's gonna be a leader and she's gonna do that and blah. You just keep saying the same thing. How many times we go over the same thing? She just irritates me so bad. And then we're hating on Jamie's bow and her hair. Jamie says that she was included in the trio rehearsals, and I don't know why this always happened with the mini moms. Every time they had a routine, there was always someone who was left out. They argued about last week's group routine. Kalani, Kendall, and Brynn had their Blackbird tree, and I thought this was stunning. And so, yeah, I definitely should have watched that for my trios and duets video, because I'm sure I would have thrown it in there somewhere, and that'll be mentioned in one of my other videos. I'm going to do a video talking about dances that were underrated. I'm going to put that in there. And then someone said something about Brynn being the leader of the team. I'm sure it was Ashley. Brynn was not the leader of the team. If anything, that was Kalani. Macy, Ellie, Lily had Bird's Whisper. Thought it was good. Kira ate with whatever she said. I don't remember what it was. The group was notorious ALDC. Macy forgot a couple parts, so there was that moment. I just didn't really go for the group dance that much. Bird's Whisper third, Blackbird's first. The group was third. Abby sends Macy home. The moms defend her. And Yolanda says, give her Eliana spot. And then Abby sends her home. And then, they cry and have that moment. Now on to episode 6. So Yolanda comes back and basically says that she regrets saying that. And I felt like Cameron should have been higher on the pyramid this week. And then she puts Nia and Cameron head to head and basically tells Cameron that you have to win and you guys are competition. And I definitely agree with Holly that the only reason that they got pitted against each other was because they were both black, because they're two different kinds of dancers. So, I just thought that was kind of ridiculous in its own way. And the fact that this is Nia's first solo in over a year is actually ridiculous. The last time she had a solo, I believe it was the Money Makes the World Go Down. And I just thought that was very elementary and immature with the choreography and stuff. So for that to be her last solo, that was kind of ridiculous. And then this is where they have the clown group routine, so they see the clown outside of the studio. And then Abby telling Jamie to back off, bitch, that was crazy. And she said it to her multiple times in the series. And then Cameron and Camille have a chat. And I think that's her asking, like, do you even want to be here and all that stuff. And so there was that moment. And Cameron saying that she wanted a solo like Nia's basically just because it was a competition piece and she feels like she was set up to win and all that stuff. And she felt like she was set up. Honestly, after seeing both solos, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. I will definitely say that. And I can get where she was coming from. And the moms were coming at Cameron saying that she has no personality and that she didn't want to be there. And she just said that she was homesick, basically, and that she wanted to be there. But, it was hard. And I'm sure it's really hard coming into a group where a lot of them have already been there for years. They already have history. And, you're one of the newer ones, especially because Daviana got cut the week before. So, there's something there. Cameron got a bad rap on the show that I don't feel like she deserves. So, I think that Cameron is actually one of the best dancers on the show. She's very underrated. I'm glad she's doing well now. But they were just too harsh on Cameron. Macy had her solo encore. I thought it was okay. Nia and Cameron were cheering each other on backstage. Cameron's Endangered Species solo, I thought it was really great in terms of the technique. I will say that. I think Cameron's really great technically. I just wish she would have had a better solo. She was capable of more, but she got better solos, which I'll talk about. And then Nia had her Getting Away with Murder, which was a character solo based off of that show, and I really enjoyed it. I think that this is one of Nia's best solos for sure. The group dance was clowning around. I thought it was good. And Liliana fell in the dance. Cameron was late in parts, so there definitely was some mistakes. I kind of agree with the moms that it looked messy. I thought it was good for what it was, but I could see, their perspective on that. Nia got first, and then apparently Cameron got second in the teen category. That's what I was reading. The group got first. Abby invites Cameron and Macy to stay another week. And then the moms got mad at the double standards. How can Cameron come back? But, Daviana got kicked out last week for getting sixth and stuff like that. So they have that moment. Do episode 7. So this is the one where they have the Good Help Us Hard to Find dance. And then Jill talk about we're just playing characters, really. It was just tone deaf. She bring back Daviana for this dance. And then Camille and Holly try to educate Ashley and Jill that segregation still exists and the racism that we have to deal with nowadays. And I felt like they were both very ignorant. They didn't really get it. There was parts that they understood, but yeah, all the way around, it just, wasn't comfortable. I think Kira was the one that said that, and I can agree with her that one time. And then Jill saying that we can laugh at it and the exercises was tone deaf. And then Holly ate whenever she talked about racism and, the store analogy about how, being black walking around in a store, you get followed sometimes because they think that you're stealing. So that's something there. And then Yolanda said that she'd rather have a different duet partner. And Yolanda said Jamie was laughing about Abby being incarcerated. So Abby pulls the duet between Macy and Eliana. And then she said, back off, bitch, to Jamie again. And the fact that she was so mad about that. And then she was like, you called me a bitch in front of my kid. And Abby said she needs to know what she's living with. And then since they have been to Fresno multiple times and don't win, I'm shocked that they kept going back because Abby's really all about the win. Maybe that was a producer thing. Kalani and Kendall had this duet called Tango Para Tres, and it was basically about them fighting over another guy, but you wouldn't know that unless you knew the backstory. I always felt like Abby should have made this a trio, so it actually makes sense. So I thought they did good for what it was, but, it should have been a trio. Cameron and Brynn had their Snap That duet. I wish they would have got more duets, because I really liked how they danced together. I thought this was, a really fun jazz moment. They brought the energy. I actually really enjoyed it. And Yolanda apologizes to the girls, and then Abby. And then the dance, Good Help Us Hard to Find, just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't. And so, yeah, I just don't really go for the group dance. I thought that they did good performing it, but I can't back the group dance. Kendall and Kalani got second. Brynn and Cameron got first. The group got first. And then Abby says Daviana won't be back next week. So that's kind of messed up to bring her back. And then she's not able to come back the next week. Now into episode 8, Kira was at the ER with Kalani. I think this was whenever Kalani's back was in pain or something like that. And this was the one where Cameron was on top of the pyramid. And I feel like she deserved to be on top of the pyramid because she did great in the group dance and that her little ending part. And the duet with Brynn won. So I feel like she deserved to be on top of the pyramid. And then Holly was mad about that. And she was calling Cameron's character Uncle Tom, which was messed up. I think that's one of Holly's worst moments. She has very few, but, I didn't agree with that. Jill defends her, and Nia basically was like, yeah, like you said, I was the lead and you put all this pressure on me and then I'm not on top of the pyramid. But I still stand with the fact that Cameron should have been on top of the pyramid. And they go to visit Grace for the group dance, and then Yolanda puts way too much pressure on Eliana. Like, I seriously worry about that kid. Like, Yolanda, at a certain point, she doesn't even feel like a real person to me. She feels like a character. And just the situations that she put Eliana in and all that stuff, it's just bad. It's just bad. It's like Chrissy just, like, typed up a few doses. Like, that's kind of what she reminds me of, to a certain sense. Like, always putting your daughter in bad situations. And the moms try to talk sense into her. Of course, she didn't get it. And then her coming dressed as Charlie Chaplin. I'm pretty sure she said the producers made her do that, but I don't know. Like someone said, like, every time they do something on the show that, like, we disagree with, 9 times out of 10, all the producers maybe do this or that. It's not always going to be the producers. Sometimes y'all are just bad people and y'all have to take accountability for your actions. I'm sorry. I don't like Yolanda. Liliana's solo was dainty but dangerous. I thought it was good. Eliana's Charlie solo, I didn't really go well for it. And then she said she didn't roll up on the stage because it was sticky, and I think Abby didn't believe her or something. Group was 6 feet underneath. I thought it was good. Eliana got 5th. Liliana got 1st, and the group got 1st. Down to episode 9, Kalani was at the bottom for being at the ER. I don't know why Abby thought that Eliana's Charlie solo would win. It didn't seem that competitive to me. And Abby says that Macy was too short for the number. And she said that she brought this girl named Jane in, and she said she wanted to see if she uses her face more than Brynn. So, like, there's that whole argument there. And then Macy threw up. She got sick during rehearsal, so her and her mom, they drive themselves up there. Liliana's solo was Route 66. I thought it was good for what it was. Macy's I'm Alive solo was good. She was good at hip-hop. Brynn has her botch solo, which I liked. The group dance was Blush and Bashful. I believe they got a perfect score. I think it's a great dance. I feel like people talk about this a fair amount, but I feel like it's kind of underrated by me at least. So I really liked it. Brynn got 3rd, Macy got 2nd, Liliana got 1st, group got 1st with a perfect score, and Abby sends Jane home. Now on to episode 10. Macy should have been higher. I don't feel bad for Yolanda either. And the moms complained to Abby about the group dance. And then the solos that were assigned that week, Abby literally teaches them their dances in the hallway. I think it was, the night before the competition, which is just ridiculous. Like, why is she so bad at time management? I'll never know, and it just really irritates me, and they deserve better. Kendall's solo is called The Journey. It was about her journey at the ALDC. I felt like the choreography wasn't really my favorite. I didn't really go for it. It was just kind of there. Nia had the promised land. She fell in her front arrow, which was unfortunate. I thought it was okay for what it was, I'll be honest. And then Kalani had her Say Something, Say Anything solo, which 8. I think it's a great solo. I feel like the fandom goes up for it a lot, but it was something I appreciated more watching it. The group dance was The Thinner the Air, The Harder to Breathe. I feel like they've done something similar to this with, like, Avalanche in season 3, which I didn't really like that dance, but I actually liked this group routine. Nia got 2nd in teen, Kendall got 1st in teen, Kalani got 1st for senior solo, and I hate Kira's voice, just her tones, like, they always bother me. I wrote that down. Kalani also got the 1st overall solo award, so that was a great moment. Group got 1st, and then Abby got mad that they said that it doesn't work with the minis, when it doesn't. The height disparity and the learning disparity, it's just not the same. Like, I don't know why she's getting mad at them for saying the truth. Now to episode 11, Kendall shoots her video Friday for this week, and then Abby makes some comment saying that, Jill is, like, really old, but it's really funny. And then, I don't know why Stacy said something like, why would you put your kid in this situation too? Like, you put your kid there. You're a psychologist, you know better, but you wanted the fame, and that's why you brought your kid to the show. So you don't get to judge anybody else when you also have your kid on the show. And then, I don't know why Abby said crying was spoiled brat behavior. Yolanda never comforts Eliana ever. She's way too tough on her, like I already said, and like I said, I really feel for her. Lily's solo was Ice Cream for Ice Cream. I thought it 8. Eliana had Am I Enough? I thought that was a great solo. Macy's Patience, I thought it was mid. This is whenever she has her do a lyrical routine, and I liked whenever she did the hip-hop, so I think she should have stayed with that. The group routine was the Red Bow, or the Bow. This was a ballet routine. I loved it. This is one of the best routines of this season, and yeah, they just all really shined in this one, so I really enjoyed it. Eliana and Liliana tied for 5th. I'm shocked. I thought that they would have been higher, and also that they didn't break it with the technical score, because that's what they've done every past season. Macy didn't place. The group got 1st, and then she said that there's no way that she could be better than the 2 kids standing next to her. That was just mean to say, and then Jamie says we are done, and they're not done because they come back the next episode, but I digress. On to episode 12. So they come back to Pittsburgh and Jamie and Macy return. And then this is whenever Candy Apples does the building a wall dance, which, I mean, like, why would you do that? I feel like production made them do that. I feel like that's what I've heard. But, I mean, regardless, if that was me, I would have put my foot down and saying, we're not doing that. But I know, so she said that Kathy was a Trump supporter, so I wouldn't put it past her, but that's disgusting to do. And then she said that it's about building a wall to keep Abby out. And I agree with Kaya. She was like, why not do something else to represent prison, like bars and all that stuff, and not a wall? Like, you know what just happened with the Trump election and all that stuff? Like, that was incredibly distasteful. And then Kaya dissed Kendall on social media, saying that the dancing and the music, wasn't great for her. And that's one thing I don't like about Kaya. She talked about the kids way too much, and, she had some disparaging remarks. And to be fair, the other moms did it as well. And I agree with other people saying that, certain things that Kaya does, it gets proclaimed as ghetto or whatever. But whenever Chrissy does it, it's oh, queen, this and that. So there is racism and double standards there. I do want to say that. But, she did talk on the kids too much, as did most of the moms. So I wanted to have that kind of moment there. I felt like Kalani should have been on top of the pyramid. And I don't know how Eliana and Liliana got so high whenever they got 5th. If this was last season or the season before, they would have got crucified. But now they get to be so high up for 5th place. I don't understand it. And Abby said Cameron doesn't want to be a part of them. And then Cameron said that wasn't true. And then Kira got in an argument about pyramid, saying that Ellie didn't deserve to be on top. And, the judges gave her 5th and all that stuff. And so that got pretty ugly. And then she was like, Kalani won't be dancing. Then Kalani talks to Abby and she's like, listen, I really want to be in this routine. And then, she ends up being in it. And I agree with Kaya that the building a wall dance was messed up and she clocked the moms and Jeanette was wrong. And just the Candy Apples moms were very tone deaf about that and stuff like that. Like, there's certain things you have to go through being black or gay or transgender, like whatever it is, and everything that Trump stands for is directly against us and a lot of people in general. So but Kaya definitely ate that and she said exactly what I was thinking. And so Kira says the girl said Cameron didn't want to be there. And then I don't know why Camille trusted Yolanda enough to show her that message, because Yolanda will do anything to get her kid ahead. So that wasn't smart. And then they talked to Kaya about her post about Kendall at the competition, I believe. And then Abby tells the director that Kaya should be thrown out of the competition, and she's not. Kathy confronts her on that. Nakaya ultimately does her solo call Peace stuff. I just thought it was very elementary in terms of the choreography. Felt like she could have done something harder. Cameron gets her I'm already done solo, which was fantastic, and the pressure was put on her because Abby told her you have to win. Candy Apples build the wall. I skipped the dance, and this is one of the only dances in the show that I've ever skipped. It's just something I refuse to watch just because I disagree with the message so much. So yeah, it was a chop for me. ALDC group was called Ghost Town. I thought it was good. And then Cameron talks to the girls about the drama. They make up backstage, I believe. Nakaya got second. Cameron got first. Candy Apples got second. Abby Lee Dance Company got first. And Abby gives Cameron her team jacket. Now on to episode 13. So Nia and Holly reflect on their beginnings a little bit. And then I don't know why there was no pyramid. There should have been. Jill and Holly are mad that their kids didn't get solos for nationals, which I can understand. And Abby was talking about, I'm going to do this number on cancer. And then they have to remind her, we've already done that with Living with the Ribbon. And then Abby's just stumbled. She's like, oh my God, I forgot about that. So she has to come up with something else. And then Christy and Chloe finally return to the show. This is why I like season 7. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But Chloe ate whenever they were talking about Abby. And then she was saying maybe the federal government will help us with that in terms of getting Abby away. That was so funny to me. And so Lily got a song by her dad for her number. And then the Candy Apples group is about human trafficking. And Abby already basically did that twice with Where Have the Children Gone? And also with Amber Alert, basically. Something like that. Something in that vein. I feel like it's similar to something Abby's done. So it just felt like a reject Abby dance, in my opinion, at least. I don't like the Eliana-Liliana rivalry, as people pointed out. They were definitely trying to have it be the new Maddie and Chloe, and it's like, we've already been through that with seasons. We see the toll that it takes on them and just everyone at large. I don't want that again. Stop trying to recreate it. Stop acting like this show is going to go on it's at the end. And then Abby comes up with a new group number, Is There Still Hope? And the fact that she was saying, is Nia always going to be this high schooler or whatever? Could she be a gang member? Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Kendall has her music video premiere. Abby does show up, but it's basically just to sell her own merchandise. I thought Kendall's song was okay. Abby says, every great star that I made leaves. I wonder why. And then Christy and Chloe head to the competition to go watch and support them. And so this is basically a 2-part episode. Now on to episode 14. So Kathy comes in the dressing room talking trash to them, and she said that Kalani was the entire team and everyone else can go home, which was just very disrespectful. I get she was playing up a character in a show to a certain extent, but I just thought that was messed up to say. And then Abby's pep talk was trash. Usually, as one of the moms pointed out, she gives a lot of context to, that point and the stakes, and it was just garbage. Bryn had her Winner Takes It All solo. I thought it was good. Kalani had her Who Do You Think You Are solo, which ate. I really enjoyed it. Eliana had her Munich solo, which was really good. Lily had Dear Lily, I Love Daddy, which was a good solo. The Candy Apples Abduction Dance, I thought it was just mid. Having a phone in the dance just really took me out of it. I didn't really go for it. I don't really go for most of their dances. And then ALDC was Is There Still Hope, which I really like. I enjoyed. I get why people wouldn't go up for it. I do, but I liked it. I think it's one of the best group dances this season. Eliana got second and Lily got first. On that, after I saw the dances, I felt like it could go either way. I feel like I preferred Eliana solo a little bit more, but there's something there. And then Bryn got third in senior solo. Kalani got first in senior solo. Candy Apples got fourth. ALDC got first for the group dance. Kathy and Abby argue. Kathy throws a trophy. Jeanette just got mad at how she handled it, so she leaves. And Christy and Chloe, they go and, they catch up with the girls and the moms and stuff like that. And then this is whenever Chloe runs past Kendall. And this is just so funny. And she says that she didn't see Kendall, but this scene is just so funny to me. I'm sorry. And then she says she's thinking about competing again. Next up, we got Abby's tell-all episode. So this is basically the one where she talks about how she's getting ready to go to prison and just all those things. And one thing about me, I'm going to eat up on a show these two things. If someone gets divorced or if somebody goes to prison or jail, I just eat up those storylines every single time. So, of course, I was going to tap into this. And I've definitely seen this before, but, it was interesting to see it again. So she basically said she made a lot of mistakes and she trusted the wrong people with her money. I don't believe that she had innocence in the situation. I feel like she knew what she was doing. Abby lies a lot, so I don't trust her. And so it is what it is with that regard. And she had weight loss surgery, so they talk about that. She goes to the doctor and she does a weigh-in. And then she says her bond with Maddie changed and talk about that's not the kid that I raised. It's not your daughter. That's your student. And then they showed Abby doing the recital and some other stuff. And then she talks to someone who tells her about what she can expect in prison. And then she said she doesn't feel bad for yelling at the kids. And her saying she doesn't know why she's not close with the kids who left the show. You know exactly what you did. You yelled at them. You degraded them. You made them lose their passion. You made them scared of you. Of course, they don't want to talk to you. That's what I don't like about Abby. She can never, reflect on her wrongcoming. She always thinks that she's right. And then they literally show, the final dinner, the final moments. And it goes, all the way through them actually turning Abby in. So it was definitely interesting in that regard. So I can say that. Now on to episode 15. So production basically talks to Abby about prison, basically. And she says that she has an announcement for the girls at Pyramid. And it's just classes. And everyone's like, okay, we definitely thought it was going to be something different. So there's something there. And then Abby talks about going out on top. And it's just all alluding to she's going to be going away soon, right? And then whenever they did the pyramid, I hate that Jill had a voiceover over the entire thing because I wanted to hear her critiques and why everyone got placed where they got placed. So that was annoying. And then Ashley's going to be gone for the week, so she says that Bryn is going to stay with Jill. And basically, from what I hear, that they said that, Jill kind of played up the whole hating on Bryn on the show thing, and, actually, they have no beef, really. So that was just really interesting, because she hated on her so much last season, but I definitely wanted to point that out. And then the moms talked to Abby about prison. The mini moms tried to visit Abby's office, and then she got really mad. I don't know why the mini moms never practiced together, as I've already said. Kendall and Bryn had their each other duet. I thought it was good. Eliana and Liliana had Oceans too. They had moments where they were off, but, as Stacey said, that's what happens when you don't practice together, and I'm pretty sure that was Yolanda's fault. Nia comforts Lily after that. The group dance was family court, and so it was kind of messed up the fact that Abby's going to have a whole dance about Ashley's divorce and, what Bryn's going through at the same time, and Jill was like, maybe she's trying to take court off of her, I don't know, but I liked the dance, I liked it for what it was. Kendall and Bryn got second, Eliana and Liliana got first, and the group got first. Now on to episode 16, so Abby didn't even go to the competition, and she gave Kalani and Bryn the solos, even though they didn't win, which was, the kind of thing that she was talking about last week, whoever won got solos, but she went against her word, and no shade, this is one of the only times she ate, because I feel like they deserve the solo. And so they have this vegan dance, and Jordy's song was so bad, and he was talking about speciesism and was trying to compare it to racism, and that's not the same thing, and I agree with the moms and what they said. And Ashley brings up the fact that Christy and Chloe are back in LA and how she's getting ready to dance again, and it seems like Abby found out about it and seemed distraught about it. I don't know, maybe it was something else, maybe it was the attorneys. And Ashley says that Lorianne Gibson can take over, whenever Abby leaves for prison or whatever. And then Kalani gets a solo, and then she asks Abby, who am I portraying? And then Abby just gives her a bunch of, vague answers, and she's like, she doesn't even care. How can I win when I don't even know what I'm supposed to be portraying? And then, Jill was like, let me get a picture of the OGs. Kendall's not an OG. And then, so there's something right there. And then the fact that she even says, I'm going to tell you right now, Kendall's not going to win. She's not going to be Kalani. So there was that moment. And then the moms are like, why would you say that? And then Holly ate saying that she knows who's set up to win and who isn't. So they have a point. And so Kendall actually does a repeat solo this episode. And she does her solo called DOA. I think that this 8 might be Kendall's best solo. I saw a lot of hype about this, you know, on the subreddit and such. And then whenever I rewatch, I was like, this is a really good solo because it's about her being in a car accident, but it's at the very end. And then, like, you know, at the ending of the dance, like, it shows, like, where it started. So it's, like, in reverse. I think it's super, super cool. I actually really enjoyed the solo. Bryn's The Chase solo was okay. Kalani had her solo called What Do You See? I thought it was great. The group routine was food for thought. Stupid. This is one of their worst group routines. I hate it. Kendall got third. Kalani got first. And then Gia got offended about something in this episode. So that's something worth noting. Now on to episode 17. So Lorianne officially comes in. She asks if Kendall's lazy and everyone is silent. Chloe and Christy come back on this episode and she joins MDP to dance with them. Lorianne has them improv to decide who's going to get the solo and stuff. Chloe dances for Erin and she just kind of gives her a pep talk. And then Holly gets a call from Christy that, you know, Chloe's at MDP and she tells them that they will be there at the next competition. And so the moms were all mad at that. And I forgot about this, but someone brought up on the subreddit that Erin literally choreographed for them last season whenever she did and then there was one group dance and then Kalani and Brynn had the solos. So you're so mad. Oh, they're their biggest competitors whenever you went to them. So, you know, that was the point. I kind of forgot about that. The girls talk about Lorianne. And someone brought up this point, but Cameron definitely got excluded because she wasn't invited to this, so that would have been a nice moment. And then Kira talking down on Cameron, saying that she was a space filler was very disrespectful, and her saying that she wasn't going to get professional jobs and stuff like that really aged bad because she had multiple professional jobs working with Kendrick Lamar and Usher, so she did too much on her. And then Chloe was just stressed about learning the group routine and fitting in. Abby went to Cancun, and I don't know how she could travel this time, but I still don't get it. Erin gave Chloe her team jacket, and then Jill calling Chloe a studio hopper. No, when she was at the same studio for so long and then had to leave because Abby said something about her eye. Like, let's be serious. And then Jill just annoyed me whenever she was saying, oh, they left because they couldn't control Abby. No, they left because of you and your daughter because she was literally defending Kendall and you guys didn't defend her. And then Abby said stuff about Chloe's eye. So, like, let's break the fourth wall there. And she was just so annoying. And then Chrissy said Nia was the only one who reached out. She said Kendall was a liar about calling Chloe. And then Crystal 8 saying that Jill is not an OG. And then Jill was just acting like Chrissy only wanted the drama, I believe, and stuff like that. But Jill started the argument first because you were the one who called Chloe a studio hopper and all that stuff. And then Chloe just got upset about that and then she cried. Now into episode 18, Jill still talking trash on Christy. And then I don't know why all the moms weren't bringing up what Jill said about Christy. They were just talking about what Christy said, which was just irritating. And then the fact that she was like, oh, she doesn't feel confident in Chloe's dancing. Why would you say that? Macy has her solo Black Sheep. It was good. She forgot some of the choreography. I don't know why Camille was crying. Cameron, Weight of the World. I thought the choreography was bad. It just seemed like a lot of posing and walking, and Cameron can do so much more than that. I hated the costume. Chloe cheered on Nia before her performance. Nia has her solo No Regrets. I thought it was alright. And then Chloe talked with Kendall backstage and then just saying, like, even though our moms aren't friends, I would like to be friends. So then they make up. The group dance for the elites, the ALDC, was Judgment Day. I hated it. And Christy clocked Jill in the hallway before the group, so period. MDP's group was called Devil's Playground, and it ate. The handcuffs were so funny to kind of have that moment where it's just symbolizing Abby's sentencing. Like, yeah. And a lot of people this season talk about Chloe's regression this and Chloe's regression that. I will say, did she regress? Yes. However, I still enjoyed watching her dance, and I feel like she could still hold her own in the group routine. Like, people act like she was absolutely horrible, but I mean, when you don't train as much as you have years prior, you're not spending 40 hours in the studio. I mean, that's what's going to happen. It is what it is. So people do a little bit too much on Chloe. I still liked watching her dance this season, and she held her own in the group. And so, you know, I liked the dance. I thought it was fun. Solos did not place at all. ALDC gets fourth, MDP first. Chloe goes to the dressing room and talks to them, and then Jill ends up hugging Chloe, and then Holly was really kind to her. I think she was basically saying, like, you are good enough, we'll always support you. So I could appreciate that. Now to episode 19. So Lorianne is back, and she calls the pyramid A-list instead of pyramid, and Yolanda tells Eliana to tell her that it was very important for her to be in the group dance because of some gender non-conforming friend that she had, and saying that her friend would be very disappointed if she wasn't in the group. And I just thought that she was very manipulative with that, and she told you a billion times, you're not going to be in the dance, so like, just get over it. And then Stacy clocked that. She said that the girls were bullying Eliana whenever they weren't, and Eliana said, like, they're not bullying me. So that was that moment. Stacy and Yolanda end up fighting, and this was whenever she tries to actually choke Stacy, and then she actually denied that she tried to do that, but no. She apologizes, which was a bunch of BS and everything. And so there was that moment, and I forgot to bring up the fact that Eliana does talk to Lorianne about that whole thing that Yolanda told her to say. You know, oh, like, I really want to be in this dance, it's important to me, and blah, blah, blah. And, like, once Lorianne found it out, she was like, she's not going to be in the dance. So there was that moment there, and that's kind of, like, the genesis of the fight. And then this is the one where she was like, I don't deal with dissociative identity disorder in my practice, and all that stuff. So there was that moment. And so, for the solos, Brynn had the solo called The Trip. I just thought it was Min. Kalani, Savage, Min. The group dance is called Hue. This is about someone who is transgender and just, like, the gender identity and trying to be accepted and all that stuff. So, I like the message of it a lot. However, I just didn't really go for the choreography a whole lot. I don't go for Lorianne's choreography in general. Kalani got second, Brynn got third in teen, and the group got second. Now on to episode 20. They reused some Yolanda voiceover. I think this is the one about her being mad that Abby was gone because Eliana's not dancing very much and blah, blah, blah. And then Nia was supposed to have a duet with Kalani, I believe, and then she took her out of it just because she felt like she wouldn't work for that and that she wasn't working hard enough, basically. And then Ashley and Jill hated on Lorianne's choreography. They said they felt like it wasn't going to work. And then Holly and Ashley started arguing about privileges. Camille left Cameron's dress at home, and then they have an argument about that. Lorianne's like, I can't believe you forgot it. Kendall and Brynn had their duet finish line. I thought it was good. I feel like Brynn kind of ate her up a little bit. No shade. It was some timing issues there, but I liked it for what it was. Kalani and Cameron had their I Got No Fear. I thought it was okay. I thought the other duet had more entertainment value. That's just my opinion. And then Lorianne says that everyone's acting spoiled and entitled, and then she just gave some notes on the duet. She talks to the moms argue about Cameron, and then Kira saying Cameron probably won't make it professionally, and like I said, she got professional jobs with Usher and also with Kendrick, so that didn't age well. The group dance was contagious. I thought it was meh. It was one of the better group dances she's done. Kendall and Brynn get second. Kalani and Cameron get first. The group got third, and then she talks to the announcer about the scores like she's literally running to follow him, which is kind of funny. And then they blamed Abby for something, and then Lorianne just tells some story at the end. Now on to episode 21. So Lorianne is officially gone, Abby is back, and then the fact that she said under duress, I'm back, like really? And then Abby says she doesn't know what happened to Lorianne, but the moms called Lorianne and she said she won't choreograph for them that week because it was Abby's request. And, you know, the moms called Abby like, where have you been? Blah, blah, blah. And I found out Ashley's a Capricorn. And yeah, it's really a chop because one thing about me, I historically don't like Capricorns. Of course, there's going to be a couple exceptions. But yeah, once I found that out, I was like, you know what? That's one of the reasons I don't like her. And then Kira says, you know, what is she going to do whenever Christy and Chloe show up? And then Abby says no comment. And one thing that's so funny to me is how scared she is of Christy and Chloe. Like, the way that she tries to avoid them is so funny to me. And there might be a restraining order or something like that there. I don't know. But she's like, I'm not allowed to talk about them and all this stuff. And the fact that she, like, avoids them, I just think it's really funny. It is because, you know, they seem pretty unbothered. Like, they don't want to run into her, but they're not that scared of it, if that makes sense, you know? And then the moms yell at Abby for being gone again. Elites leave, and then the minis end up staying. The moms reach out to choreographers, and, you know, they call Holly and fill her in on what happened because, you know, she was out of town for that week, and she basically said she was proud of them for leaving. And then Abby says the girls have 30 minutes to come back and work on the group routine, or like, that's it. Christy and Chloe are back at MDP. They find out that Abby is back. Chloe gets the lead in the group routine. Jamie and Macy do end up coming back to ALDC because they're like, she wants to dance. They felt like it was the best decision. Abby got mad and told her to leave, but she didn't really have an option because she didn't really have much for the group, so she ends up staying. And the girls go back to 3rd Street. They're fed up with Abby, and, you know, they're talking about that. They start making up this combination. And then pushing Brynn to fall was messed up when she told them multiple times she wasn't comfortable with it. And she made sense in her confessional. She was like, why would I do that when there's no mats on the floor and no teacher in the room? So I thought that they were messed up on that, telling her, oh, you're going to fall and all that stuff. And then Christy and Holly call, and then they catch up. Now on to episode 22. So Kasiaks arrive early to rehearse for the group routine. And then Abby making Jamie throw her food away. That is so dehumanizing. And the fact she actually did it, child. And then not Abby on the phone while she's running the solos looking at some guy on Instagram or Tinder or whatever it is. And then the moms show up to the competition to support Chloe because Christy asked. And then they eventually tell Abby that they're going to be leaving. And then Ashley says that they want to go back to Abby and Gia, to the moms. Basically, Abby and Christy see each other, and then they avoid each other. Macy does her major solo. It was okay. I didn't really go for it. It kind of just seemed like a rehashing of Kendall's This Is Major solo from a few seasons ago. And then Abby finds out Christy's in there, and she actually leaves. And then the moms convince her to go back in to see the mini solos. Liliana has Blue Moon, which was a good routine. Eliana had TK, which is good. It had entertainment value. Bryn and Ashley tell Abby that they would like to come back. Abby welcomes them back. And then the moms found out and they got really disappointed. They were like, oh, we expected better of you. And then Ashley's like, I feel like Bryn's not respected as a leader on the team, which we already went over that. And she just really wanted to be over there and end her story there, basically. And then the moms talk to Abby, and then she just makes comments to them, really like this isn't the actual conversation and whatever. She just kind of has a little moment. And then Ashley talks to the mom about their decision to go back to Abby, why they decided to do it. And then MDP, the group dance was the Upside Down. Chloe ate as a lead. I really enjoyed it. And then her sister Claire is in this routine as well. So I really liked it. Lily got the overall high score award. And then someone says something about being a new Kalani, which, like, let's be for real. And then MDP got first for the group routine. Chrissy and Chloe end up quitting MDP, basically, just because they found out that, you know, the rest of the moms left at this point, I think. And they just felt like, yes, you guys want to win, but we just want to dance. And I think probably the pressure of it, it just wasn't the right environment for them overall. I think it was good that they got that opportunity to, you know, start dancing again and being competitive in that way. But yeah, so she's just like, you know, we're leaving, and like the door is closed. And then the moms officially tell Abby that they are going to be leaving. And people pointed out that this scene is really funny whenever she's like, I feel like a whore. And then, like, whenever she's crying, whenever Abby cries, is so funny. And then, so Chloe just asks, like, if she can, you know, dance with the girls and stuff like that. And of course, she's welcomed. Now on to episode 23. So the moms try to get Abby. She tells them to get out at ALDC. And then the Irreplaceables, they invite Aisha Francis to choreograph for them. And then Abby said she wasn't sad about them leaving, I think in the confessional or somewhere. And then she was still crying, please. She gets rid of the pyramid. And, I mean, you barely had enough people for it. So, like, let's not act like you had a legitimate reason to really get rid of it. I mean, come on. And then Camille gets a call from Yolanda saying that the moms don't want Cameron there. And then I think Brent said in a confessional that Abby's the reason they have Instagram followers, which, like, it's not anything to do with her, it's to do with the show. So, like, let's be serious for a moment there. And her acting like she doesn't get why the kids would want to leave when Abby has treated them so horribly. So, yeah. And then Abby redoing Where Have All the Children Gone is so lazy. And then the moms got mad that the boy was in the group because they did all these sacrifices and now our children are going to be featured and blah, blah, blah. Kendall and Kalani got assigned solos, but they got scrapped so they could focus on the group dance. And then Kendall has really bad anxiety. And so that's something I forgot to mention, like, all these videos, is you can definitely see it, like, taking a toll on her. And yeah, I mean, I can understand that whenever there's so much pressure on you to, like, win and all that stuff, and the stakes are always so high, and just everything that Abby does to them, I get why she would have really bad anxiety. So, you know, you feel bad for that. So I wanted to have that moment. And then Camille calls back Ashley and she asks her for drinks. And then Ashley was really just trying to turn the moms against each other, basically. Chloe was stressed about the group dance and everything. And then the moms go out for drinks and Ashley doesn't even show up because she's a coward. Like, she really is. Like you said, all this stuff trying to turn them against each other, and then you don't even show up for drinks. And then Yolanda talks trash on Chloe. Talent will prevail, blah, blah, blah. And then Christy put her in her place and she did push her, which was kind of funny. So I will say that Christy definitely ate that. And then the moms talked to Aisha about the dance, and Aisha clocked them. And I feel like a lot of times they disrespected the choreographers and stuff like that because, of course, she doesn't want to embarrass them or put them in a position to not win. So it's like you kind of got to trust her a little bit. So I will say that. Now on to episode 24. So one of the moms said there was proof of Cameron at ALDC. Okay, where's the proof? Like, I'm not seeing it. And then Abby doesn't go in the audience. Brent had her solo You Taught Me Out, which is good. But I agreed, I think it was with Kira, that she's just better than that. It kind of was elementary for her and her skill set. I definitely will say that. And then Ashley was hating on them for not doing solos. And she's talking about being a coward when you didn't show up to drinks the other day and you were talking all that about them. So you're the real coward. Liliana has Wishing Well, which was good. Eliana had Aria, which was good. I just hated the song. And then the moms found out they were redoing Where Have All the Children Gone. And then the girls talk about their goals with the group dances and stuff like that. The bootleg Where Have All the Children Gone is a chop for me. And then Abby's furious about their group dance called The Last Dance, but you had them do Electricity when they were, 8 and 9 years old. So, I mean, like, let's sit this one out because you defend the dance to this day. And she had it in her top 10 dances. And it's just like, come on. And so the Irreplaceables, like I said, their dance is called The Last Dance. I like it for what it is. I get why people wouldn't. And Lily gets second, Eliana gets first, and then the mom's saying that they can't even enjoy the awards now after the performance. Be for real. You're there to see your daughters dance. If you didn't like the group dance, it is what it is, but like, let's be for real. Brittany had place, the bootleg where Have All the Children Gone, Woodford Junior Group, Irreplaceables got second in teen, and then Ashley runs whenever she got confronted for saying that the girls look like strippers. And it's like, if you don't like the dance, fine, but like, coming for them, that was too far. Now into episode 25, so Ashley basically said something about at least she's not teaching her daughter to sell her body for money or something like that, which was very inappropriate of her to say. And so, like, why would you say that? And then Abby announced on social media that she's not going to be coaching for the rest of the season. So now they look like idiots because they talked about sacrifices this and sacrifices that. Well, Abby quit on y'all. So there you go. Cheryl Burke is in to teach for the Irreplaceables. And then the other moms are at 3rd Street. No Abby, so they had to get someone else to choreograph it. I think they got someone called Miranda or someone else that works for Abby to choreograph for them. And so it was just annoying whenever Jamie was like, oh, Abby hasn't left us and she just needs a break. We all do. You have been abandoned. You have been abandoned. I hate to break it to you, but you're very delusional at this point. The moms talk about Ashley. And then talk about a grown woman trying to destroy her child. Like, she didn't talk about Chloe. Like, let's be for real, Ashley. Let's be for real. Because if you say stuff about Chloe, of course she's going to say stuff about your daughter. Like, it is what it is. So, like, please. Like, you said stuff about Chloe. You said stuff about the other children. So, like, take the L there. And then all the other moms trying to insinuate that the Irreplaceables are jealous of or intimidated by them. Like, let's be for real. And then Cheryl tells the moms that they're too loud because they were arguing about something. And then she said if they don't win, she might not be back. And then Cheryl talks to the girls about their insecurities and stuff. And, you know, Jill comforted Chloe, which was a nice moment, I will say. And, you know, the rest of the moms did. Nia and Chloe had their duet, Coming to Hollywood. I mean, I thought it was good. Choreography was a little bit elementary, I'll say. But it was nice to see them finally have a duet. Kendall and Cameron had unconditional love for the duet. I thought it was good. ALDC, we surrender, child. The only thing that is getting surrendered is Abby to prison. Like, please, I hated it. And I think one of the moms said this too, but like, what are you surrendering to? Is she surrendering? Like, what was the point? The Irreplaceables dance was called The Protest, which was good. I really liked it. Chloe and Nia duet got 3rd. Kendall and Cameron got 1st. The Irreplaceables group dance got 5th. ALDC got 2nd. And Miranda, who was Abby's employee who choreographed for them, got fired. And then Ashley and Brynn end up leaving. They're like, this is just not what we want to do. All the social media hate and blah, blah, blah. Whenever you are the one hating on somebody else's art. So I just can't stand Ashley. Now on to episode 26. So there is no Jill and Kendall in this episode, basically because Jill says she's going to see her other daughter's nationals. So they're not there. And then she ends up bringing in Reagan for this. And I get why the moms and girls were upset about her getting a solo over Chloe and Nia, because they are the OGs. I feel like the moms could have handled it better for, you know, how they said that. I feel like, you know, Chloe and Nia were really respectful about, you know, why they felt that way and all that stuff. And I feel like they're pretty eloquent generally, but I understand it. And then Reagan's mom complaining about, oh, we made sacrifices. We left the studio. We got kicked out of the competition teams. It was your choice to leave. Okay, so don't talk about sacrifices. I don't want to hear it. I don't. And then Kalani ends up spraining her ankle and she has to act her solo. And I don't know why Christy accused Kalani of like faking the injury or just like dramatizing it. And it's just, I don't feel like Kalani would do that. I felt like if Kalani was able to perform, then she would have performed, especially because, you know, she got beat by Reagan. So why wouldn't she want to have that opportunity to win? Like, I hate that Christy implied that. It really annoys me. And then Reagan has her solo, the ingenue. I thought it was good. I liked it for what it was. Cameron got her breaking free solo, which I thought was great. And then the group dance was the Coven, which I thought was really great and cool. Kalani couldn't be in the dance because, you know, she sprained her ankle as aforementioned. But, you know, I really liked it. Reagan got 4th, Cameron got 1st, and the group got 1st. And I feel like Cheryl's choreography really took a step up in everything. And she even said that in one of the episodes. Like, now that I've seen the competition, I get a feel for it. I see what it takes to win, you know. So that's why I think she changed her approach. Now on to episode 27. So this is basically the last actual episode of the show if you really sit down and think about it. And so Jill comes back, and then so Cheryl assigned Nia, Chloe, and Kalani solos. And then Jill saying that Kalani is not an OG and Kendall is. Kendall's not an OG. Give it up. And then not her telling Jill to go back on vacation. She absolutely ate that. Jill talk about everything I've done for 7 years when you've been here for 6. She started in season 2. And the thing is, I actually agree with Jill this one time because Kendall should have a solo because it is her last competition that she's ever going to do. So, like, why not have a solo? And this is the one time where I disagree with the other moms and everything, because if it was your daughters that were put in that position, you would be mad too because it's their last moment. So, I mean, just, yeah. Jill did way too much on it. I will say that, but I mean, the sentiment wasn't wrong. And then Jill acting like Christy and Chloe quit to quit yet again is very annoying. You know why they quit? Because she said something about Chloe's eye. And then I think it was Christy or Holly that said this, but I agree, without Chloe and Nia, there wouldn't even be a team for her to be on. And then her saying Christy's mad that I stuck it out and she didn't. Why would she be mad about that? And Jill just really annoyed me with that. Christy gets them jackets, and then Chloe and Nia have OG stitching on theirs. Moms got mad at that or whatever, but I mean, they're OGs, you're not. I don't think it was that malicious or anything. And so a lot of people like, why is it always thrown in Jill's face that she's not an OG and blah blah blah. I mean, I just think it's fact at this point. I guess I could see a little bit why they feel a way about it, but like, I don't think it was that harmful, like, at all, like what she was trying to do, basically. Like, I don't think it had that much ill intent. That's just my opinion. And so Kendall does end up getting her solo called Troublemaker. Watching it again, it was okay. It was okay. You know, Nia got I Need No One. I thought it was good for what it was. Chloe had the reason why it was good for what it is. You know, I still like the turns. I like the emotional execution. I feel like all of them could have had a step up in choreography for the solos. It kind of seemed a little bit elementary to me, but that's just my opinion. Kalani had her solo Afro Blood Mint. Again, I wanted her to have better choreography. Chloe's nose starts bleeding a little bit before the group number. The group routine was called Survivor. It was like a little bit different what they do in terms of the style, but I thought it was great. You know, I really enjoyed it. JoJo visits to watch them. Chloe got third in teen. Kendall got second in teen. Nia got first in teen. Kalani got second in senior. And the group got first. And it was the perfect ending. It really was. Just them reminiscing and all the flashbacks. It is kind of awkward for Cameron, though, because, like, she just joined that season. And the rest of them really have a history, so I definitely will say that. But, I mean, I thought this was a great way to end the series, and, you know, for Chloe to go out on a good note and not having Season 4 Nationals be her last memory. So, I enjoyed this as basically a last episode of the show. Now, on to episode 28. This is Abby's last dance. So, basically, she's just kind of reflecting on the dances that she's done, her time on the show before she goes to prison. And she mentions how they made Kira remove the mole from her face to be on the show, which is actually insane. And then they try to talk to her about the last dance and show it to her, and she's like, absolutely not. And then she reacts to a compilation of the good times. And there was a lot of other stuff that was said in this episode, but I didn't really care about it. Those are the only things that kind of stood out to me. Now on to episode 29. So this is Christy and Chloe's encore. This is like their own reunion, basically. And so they talked about the Maddie-Chloe rivalry and about how it used to go back and forth a lot more before the show actually happened. And that once the show started, the stakes were different. And Abby always wanted, you know, Maddie to win and would basically do anything for that to happen. And Melissa's jealousy and that, you know, all that stuff. And someone made such a good point on the subreddit about how anytime it looked like Chloe was getting the leg up, Melissa definitely tried to sabotage her. Think about season 2 nationals, or even during season 2, I think it was that week that she won. And then after that, she was saying that Chloe rolls her eyes in class all the time, or Chloe went to the movies and all that stuff. Like, Melissa is definitely more calculative and, you know, vindictive. And then it would show. Okay, so I saw this on the Dancemoms subreddit, and it was really interesting to me, so I wanted to share it. So it's the story about Christy accusing Melissa of intentionally sabotaging Chloe at a competition pre-show. And so basically, to sum it up, at a competition before the show started, Chloe had beaten Maddie 2 or 3 times with her solo. So they're at a competition where Abby is not present and Chloe's music stops on stage. She continues dancing, but they come over the announcement and tell her to exit. They have a backup CD. It happens again. The music stops. Announcer tells her to leave the stage. Christy has the third CD that the studio hasn't touched, meaning Melissa hasn't got the opportunity to mess up that CD, and she's still the one doing all the music at that point. She takes it backstage and asks if Chloe can go a third time with this CD. The backstage manager says, your dance teacher said if the skip happened on the second CD that we just needed to scratch her. And Christy is like, our dance teacher isn't even here. Who are you talking about? And the woman here points to Melissa. Melissa sabotaged Chloe to ensure Maddie had the win this time. Christy says on the after party that this is a story Chloe remembers vividly and will always bring up anytime Melissa tries to say that she never hurt the kids or wanted to intentionally hurt the kids. Chloe will say, but she wanted to hurt me, and tell this story. So yeah, the story's just really interesting to me, and whenever you learn this, it makes so much more sense why she doesn't like Melissa, because she alludes to it and things that have happened before the show. But like, actually reading this, I'm sorry, I believe it. Melissa is very sneaky and stuff, and she has proven she will do anything to get Maddie ahead. I mean, just look at what we saw on the show. So I can't even imagine everything that happened before the show. I get people don't like Christy and they have valid reasons for that, but I'm sorry, I'm definitely believing her on the story. And I wish she would have like told this on the show, or maybe she did and they cut it out or something. I'm not 100% sure. But even just saying it like outside of the show, like, it would make so much more sense, honestly, because, you know, if someone would have done that to my daughter, I wouldn't like them either. And it kind of makes sense why she goes back and forth with Melissa, because, you know, at the same point they were on the show, so they get each other's experience. But I mean, if you did that to my daughter, I wouldn't like you either. So yeah, I just had to share the story because this is something I found out recently, and I'm glad they're showing more on like Back to the Bar, like their podcast that they have, and just like other stuff about the show. But yeah, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. I will say that. During the reunion, I feel like Christy talks over Chloe sometimes, and sometimes it's hard for her to like get a word in edgewise. They reflected on the first season, episode 4, whenever Maddie got 2 solos and Christy was mad about that and the fight that happened from that. And then Christy defending her behavior there and saying she has no regrets really. And Chloe clocked her saying like, shouldn't you regret like making Maddie cry? And she's like, no, her mother made her cry. No, you did, because you were the one saying how many times has my daughter beat your daughter and all those things. And just, yeah, so it was just really messed up. I will say that. And Chloe agrees that Christy was tougher on her than what we saw on TV. And Christy was basically just like, if Abby wasn't going to push her, I was, because I knew that, you know, she was capable of doing her best. And they reflected on season 2 nationals and about her being hard on that. And Christy definitely clocked it about season 3, basically just saying that after Chloe won nationals, Abby was definitely trying to take her down a peg. You see her over and over again that season talking about how Chloe regressed and all that stuff. And yeah, like there was an even playing field to a certain degree for the first 2 seasons, though I feel like sometimes Chloe was sabotaged in the choreography. After she won that national title, she wanted to make it clear, like, Chloe is never going to be Maddie again, and I'm going to do whatever it needs to, you know, happen. So I definitely agree with her. There was definitely a tone shift there. And Chloe said that she wasn't good at acro because Abby decided that she wasn't the acro girl and she didn't work with her on it, which I can definitely believe that. And I wish she would have like got her front area out the studio and just like been more confident in that. But I mean, if someone never works with you on something, how are you supposed to get better? And then they reflect on the Leslie fight, and Chrissy said that she regrets it, and, you know, Chloe really wanted to be in the Home Again dance, and she wasn't able to because of that. Like I said, some people say that the fight was pre-planned, and they had a vacation and all that stuff. I don't really know what to believe, but like I said, I mean, if it's going to be your nationals, you know how important that is, you know you want her to defend her national title, then why would you plan vacation there? If that is the case, but I mean, in general, that fight shouldn't have happened, but I don't know. They reflect on the Chloe Maddie duets. They showed We're Alright, which is like my favorite duet. And then they start talking about season 4. And they had that moment where they even talked about Jill and her going and recording, you know, Maddie taking the super secret private to prove a point. And Jill refused to turn over the tape, which I really would have liked to see the tape. And they talked about the Sue Sapphire situation, and Chrissy said that was the duet that broke Dancemoms, and I agree. They talked about, you know, the Chloe-Maddie friendship, and Chrissy was ridiculous saying that Chloe couldn't talk to Maddie, and, you know, Chloe was like, I'd love to be friends with Maddie, but, you know, her mom's not going to let that happen, and blah, blah, blah. And so there is a little video from Christy at the very end of this, and she basically just says, you know, that's their decision, and I'm good with Melissa now, and we know she hates Melissa again now, but Chloe and Maddie are friends. They follow each other on Instagram, they comment on each other's pictures, you know, they hang out, we've seen some pictures, so, you know, they're friends, it's good. I'm glad they got to have that moment. They reflected on their departure from the show, and I really wish that they were able to break the fourth wall and say we left because she said something about Chloe's eye and her medical condition, but, you know, it's just really frustrating in that regard. And so basically, you know, after they left, you know, Chloe said no one came out to hug her whenever, you know, she was crying outside and all that stuff and ask if she was okay. And so the producers do ask about the situation with Jill and Christy, that argument, and about how Christy, you know, was calling Kendall a liar and all that stuff about her reaching out to Chloe. And she says, like, no, she didn't. And Chloe basically said what happened is that Mackenzie put her in a group chat with the rest of the girls about the next season, but she didn't say anything because she didn't know if she was allowed to tell them she wasn't coming back. And that, you know, they didn't really reach out to her privately, to my understanding. And that Nia was, you know, the only one who reached out. You know, that's what Christy said, you know, that last part. And so, you know, I can definitely see that. I will say that. They talked about their time away. They talked about how Maddie and Chloe were up against each other for Teen Choice, and Chloe won. And they talked about why they decided to return to the show and all that stuff. They reflect on The Last Dance and all that. And they reflect on the show in general. And just, you know, they're happy to end on a good note. And that's kind of their moment. So, yeah, like I said, normally I don't go up for their reunions. But it was kind of nice for them to tell their story. Although I wish I would have been able to tell the full story. Because unless you actually, like, look this stuff up online and, like, you've heard of it and you just watch a show, you don't know what they really look. There's certain narratives that producers have on the show, they just want to push for that narrative instead of breaking the fourth wall. The show is over. A lot of us know what happened, so it's kind of frustrating, but I liked it. Now on to my favorite routines this season. So for the solos, Kalani, Say Something, Say Anything. Chloe's The Reason Why. Kendall, DOA. Cameron, I'm Already Done, which was really good. And the Breaking Free solo, yeah, that... what a great moment. Cameron's so underrated. And then Nia's Getting Away with Murder solo. For the duet, Snap That with Brynn and Cameron was definitely a highlight. For the trios, the Blackbirds with Kalani, Kendall, and Brynn. For the group routine, the Bow, Excellence, Blush, and Bashful was amazing. Is There Still Hope, The Upside Down, and Survivor. Now onto my overall thoughts on season 7. So I kind of alluded to this in my last video, but it's better than season 5 and season 6 because there's strength in the group routine again in terms of Abby's concepts and better choreography. I'm liking more of the group routines this season, though there's ones I didn't really go for, like the vegans dance for example. So I just liked it. And Christy and Chloe returning to the show makes it so much better. I'm gonna eat up the storyline every single time. I don't care. Like, I needed this. And so yeah, it's just an E for me. And like I mentioned, yes, Chloe regressed, but she could still hold her own in the group, and the turns were still going to eat. I still liked her emotional execution. I liked watching her dance, so her being back in the group, it just makes the show so much better. We needed them back. Christy has moments I disagree with, for sure. Like I said, I lean towards more disliking her, but she has entertaining moments on here, and she put Jill in her place. I don't think that the minis should have came back, as already mentioned. There isn't as much drama with them, or just in general. I feel like it was just a lot easier for me to watch this season. Like, I found myself being more engaged in the episodes this season. I like the storylines more this season, so I enjoyed it. Like I said, Cameron is so underrated. It's one of my favorite dancers to ever be on the show. I'm glad she's doing well now. Kira got a lot more irritating for me this season. Jamie was okay for the most part, but saying stuff about Christy whenever she was getting into the argument with Jill, like, be quiet, you don't even know her. And then Christy got her back with that comment in the theater and everything. So, I can say that. And like I said, I can't stand Ashley, I can't stand Yolanda, I can't stand Stacey. And quick thoughts on Camille. I actually do like Camille for the most part. Most of the time, I was going to agree with her. So, I like her. Okay, so to kind of wrap up this video, I wanted to share with you guys what are my thoughts of the girls in present day. So going left to right, we have Nia. So I like Nia. I think she's entertaining. I'm glad to see her have success. I follow her everywhere. Next up, we got Chloe. Chloe was always my favorite on the show, and I still like Chloe a lot. She seems to be a really mature person. She is successful. I wish her nothing for the best, and I'm just always going to go for Chloe pretty much. She's not really having a whole lot of controversies, which I can appreciate. I think she does well for herself. I follow her and everything. Maddie, now that I've rewatched the show again, I can understand more of her experience watching it and just see everything that she's went through. And she's done a lot. She was in the Sia video whenever she was on the show, and just the jobs that she's booked after that. I think she's super talented. I think she's matured a lot. And I watched one of her interviews that I really like, so I like Maddie. And then Paige. Paige seems like a super sweet girl, so I really like Paige. I have her on everything pretty much, I think. And also, she's a Scorpio, and I'm a Scorpio, so, Scorpio supremacy. Then next up, Mackenzie. I remember I used to follow Mackenzie. She had so many controversies, and now she seems like she's, really mellowed out a bit and just, matured, so, I've refollowed her. I like Mackenzie. Brooke, I like Brooke. I do. I have her on TikTok and everything. She seems to be really happy, and I'm glad that she's claiming back her narrative, because on the show it was always brooding Brooke and all that stuff, but now you can see that she's just so fun and bubbly, and she's doing well for herself. And then next up is Kendall. I don't like Kendall, and the reason why is just because I heard she was a Trump supporter, and one thing about me, I am very far to the left, so those beliefs and just other stuff that she said and done, it just doesn't go right with me. And the streets said she was a mean girl, so I just don't go for that. I don't like Kendall, and I'm just never gonna go for. Especially one thing that annoyed me at the reunion is whenever she was saying all that stuff about Maddie and Nia and Kenzie not being at the reunion, and kind of shading them and liking shady comments and all that stuff. If you want to be at the reunion, fine, but understand that people aren't going to want to go to it and rehash everything that they've been up to. So I just don't like Kendall, and those are my thoughts there. In terms of some other girls on the show, JoJo, I don't go up for her. I don't like her. And basically, the main reason for that is she's always invalidating the OG experience. And it's without them, you wouldn't have a show to be on. They had no clue what the show was going to be. You went on, you game planned, and you had that moment. But, it's just very different, your experience from their experience. Because you joined after everything already took off. They didn't know what it was going to be. And even Chloe had to clock her at the reunion. I'm not going to invalidate your experience with Abby because it's your experience. So, don't invalidate mine. She's so irritating with that. And just be quiet. Be quiet. Stop trying to just have everything on, because she irritates me, and I just don't care for her music career either. I think it's cringy. I don't like JoJo. I'm sorry. She got treated horribly on the show. We can definitely have that moment. She deserved better there. But, present day, I don't like JoJo. I don't go for her. Kalani, I don't like her for the same reason that I don't like Kendall, because she's also a Trump supporter. I remember, I think I used to follow her, and her posting that, and I think she posted Blue Lives Matter and all that stuff, and it's just no. And now you look like an idiot because he lost the election and all that stuff, and just the stuff that she was saying regarding that, and Kendall, bro, I did not forget that stuff. I did not forget that stuff. And now she's trying to do a rebrand and stuff like that, but I still think she believes all those things. And Cameron did this YouTube video and she was talking about the girls and she said Nia and Chloe were really nice, which is to be expected. And she said that Kendall and Kalani are mean girls, and I'm definitely believing her video. I'm sorry, I'm believing it. I just don't like what I've seen of them on social media and some of the stuff that they say. So yeah, and then she was even agreeing with Kendall and stuff like that, you know, trying to shade all the people who didn't come to the reunion and just some of the stuff that she said and the way that she talked. And yeah, and the JoJo and Kalani, they still talk to Abby, and like that's their whole thing. That's what they want to do. They had a different experience. It is what it is, but invalidating the other girls' experiences will never be it, in my opinion. I can say that I'm glad for the most part that like the OGs are like still friends and like hanging out and doing things, and I'm glad that the show didn't like ruin their relationship, and I'm glad that, you know, for the most part they found closure in the reunion and stuff like that. But you know, that's my honest opinion of the girls in 2024. For the moms, I've decided I'm going to do a separate video, and it's going to be like a mom pyramid, and I'm just going to share my thoughts on them and stuff like that on the show, and also what they did now. And I mean, I've talked about it before, but I wanted to have like one comprehensive video just like talking about it there, and this video is also long enough, so I just want that to be its own separate thing. So I'm going to post that sometime in like the next few weeks, so that is definitely something that I'm going to be doing. So that's my overall thoughts on season 7 of Dance Moms. This is kind of an end of an era. I thought about watching season 8 again because I don't remember my thoughts on it, and I want to rank all the seasons of the show, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it or not. Probably not, because yeah, it's just so fake and synthetic and stuff like that. I'll probably rewatch my video I did and just like repackage my thoughts there. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this video. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. What were your favorite routines in season 7? What were your favorite moments? What were moments you didn't like, and all that stuff, and like let's kind of continue that conversation there. But I got at least 7 or 8 more Dance Moms ideas that I'm going to be rolling out hopefully in the next few weeks, so subscribe if you want to see that. And if you have any ideas of stuff you want me to talk about and aspects of the show, then definitely let me know down below in the comments, because yeah, now that I've rewatched it, there's just so much to say, and I just love this show so much. And it's definitely one of those shows that like whenever I watch it, it's like basically all that matters. Like I just get so sucked in, everything else kind of takes a backseat to it because I love the show. And so yeah, kind of end of an era in that respect. I'm sure this will be one of my longer videos. There's just so much to say, there really is. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like down below. It helps me out a lot in YouTube algorithm. I very much appreciate it. You can subscribe to see more videos like this. If you hit the bell, you get notifications for when I post. You're not missing brand new videos come out. And in the description, like I said, will be all my other Dance Moms content. So I shared favorite Maddie solos, favorite Chloe solos, favorite group routines, and more is to come. So you can subscribe for that, and also just check down below in the description box. After the end of the video, it'll be there. And then also going to have social media, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok. And then I'm also going to have my earbuds. Free Palestine is something very important. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.